Hi everyone, so we're talking about the cerebral veins. So the blood from the entire brain, it's drained by the cerebral veins. And cerebral veins drain the blood into the dural venous sinuses. Dural venous sinuses, they drain the blood into internal jugular vein, and internal jugular vein drains the blood into the superior vena cava. Very simple flow chart, right? Now, you have cerebral veins and you have superficial as well as deep cerebral veins. So, deep cerebral veins they bring about the blood from the diencephalon, the deep structures of the brain, thalamus, and the other surrounding regions. And whereas the superficial cerebral veins, you'll notice them that they're usually found on the outer aspect, lateral side. So, superficial cerebral veins and deep cerebral veins. So, these are the two distinct categories. Now, when you talk about the deep cerebral veins, the very important vein you need to be familiar with is the great cerebral vein. And great cerebral vein, it is divided into internal cerebral vein right here. You can see internal cerebral vein on the right side, and here you can see the basal vein. This is the right side basal vein and right side internal cerebral vein, right? And on the left side, again, you'll have left basal vein and left internal cerebral vein. Basal is towards the lateral and cerebral is towards the medial, right? Anyways, that much detail is not required for now. You just need to know when you talk about the deep cerebral veins. So you have great cerebral vein, and great cerebral vein is formed by the internal cerebral vein and the basal vein. So internal cerebral vein and the basal vein, and it will give you the great cerebral vein, right? And great cerebral vein, this drains into the straight sinus. So very important. It drains into the straight sinus. So I hope that's clear. Now here also you can see this diagram, this one when I was telling you about straight sinus. So I told you straight sinus is formed by the inferior sagittal sinus and the great cerebral vein. So here you can see the internal cerebral vein, and the other one now we know is the basal vein. So internal cerebral vein and basal vein, they come together to form the great cerebral vein, vein of Galen. Right? So that's it. This was so simple. This was the deep cerebral veins. And when you talk about the superficial cerebral veins, you have superior cerebral vein. So you have superior cerebral veins and you have the superficial middle cerebral vein. So superior or superficial superior cerebral vein and superficial middle cerebral vein. Superior cerebral vein and superficial middle cerebral vein. So when you talk about superior cerebral vein, it drains into the superior sagittal sinus. There you can see this is the superior sagittal sinus. So superior cerebral vein drains into superior sagittal sinus, whereas the superficial middle cerebral vein, this also drains into the superior sagittal sinus via the uh, superior anastomotic vein. So superior anastomotic vein, and it drains into the superior sagittal sinus. But then the superficial metacerebral vein, it also has inferior anastomotic vein. Inferior anastomotic vein, with the help of that, it drains into the transverse sinus. So very important. Deep cerebral veins were draining into the straight sinus. And now when you're talking about your superficial middle cerebral vein, so I told you it has a superior anastomotic vein and an inferior anastomotic vein. With the help of the superior anastomotic vein, it was draining into superior sagittal sinus. With the help of inferior anastomotic vein, it is draining into the transverse sinus. So do not forget this. And the anastomotic veins, that for them, I'll tell you that they have special names. Let's just look at them as well. Here's a recap. Cerebral veins are veins that drain deoxygenated blood from the brain into the dural venous sinuses. Now, superficial cerebral vein drain the cerebral cortex, the outer surface, right? Now, this empties into the superior sagittal sinus as well as the transverse sinus. Easy. So you had superior cerebral vein that was uh, draining into the superior sagittal sinus. Then you had the superficial middle cerebral vein. With the help of superior anastomotic veins, it was draining into the superior sagittal sinus, and with the help of inferior anastomotic vein, it was draining into the transverse sinus. Do not forget that. Now, this is vein of Trollard. You may be wondering what is this. So this is the superior anastomotic vein. So superior anastomotic vein, its second name is the vein of Trollard, right? And the other is, where is it? Yes, vein of Lab is basically the inferior anastomotic vein, right? Then we have the deep cerebral veins, which drain the deep cerebral structures, basal ganglia, and internal capsule. And it's important that this drains the internal cerebral vein and great cerebral vein.